uncomfortable.
Greetings and salutations, hello and welcome to Gamersledge podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mark, and joining me this week from the Great White North, it is the very punctually and formally dressed Matt.
Howdy. Here too.
Wow.
We're supposed to get more snow. Yeah, we kind of did a little whoop-de-doo there.
Yeah. Welcome to the internet in Wisconsin. And also joining us, let's see if it switches to them when they talk. It's Keegan?
Yep.
You're totally not switching to him, is it?
Hi.
Yep, nope, it's not switching
Nope.
to him. Damn it.
Keaton, talk for longer periods of time.
Hello, how are
Yeah,
you?
but no, it should switch to YouTube, but it's not. I wonder if I set it to me, if maybe it will do this. No.
Please hold while we have technical difficulties.
No. Yeah. No.
We've created the mirror realm.
So not conducive to anything I'm doing. So, hooray. Hold on, let me recapture this again. This is my favorite. I love how hard it is to do this. Like, nothing should be this hard, you know? It's not for people who exist in the same room, but when you have multiple people in different places, it becomes ridiculously difficult, and it shouldn't be.
You think this problem would have been solved by now, but you know.
You really do, and it hasn't, and it's all your fault, Matt.
Probably.
So I'm going to have to manually switch between everybody. It's my favorite.
Wait, what was that?
What was what?
To Treepod.
Ah,
Try.
Treepod!
There is no try.
That sounds like a
only
Pokemon. Tripod.
do. Okay. All right. So there was Matt. So let's see if I can find Keegan. There he is.
hi.
Yay. And then last but not least is, of course, Mitchell. Hi, Mitchell.
Hi.
Dave, the tired god, is tired. So he is sleeping and not joining us tonight. And he sucks, but we love him. So let's start with our normal stuff. Going around the room. I'm actually going to go first because why not? And then we'll I don't have a long list. I was brought back to Star Trek Online by Daniel. Which is not a pay-to-win game, so I'm not super upset over it. But I did.
Are you still earning a gajillion credits a day or whatever?
It's per month. It's 500 a month, and when it came back, I had 14,500. So that's how long I've not touched it. Which they just released the new Borg box, which actually has a Borg ship in it. It's the first Borg ship. Well, it's not really true. They had like a reclaimed Tal Shiar destroyer, which I got. But this is like the first Borg ship. Like, it is an actual Borg design ship. And it's the one from their first encounter. It's the one that's in the pinball game, too. It's the one that looks really weird. It's got, like, the house on the left side and then, like, an extension and then a circular portion on the right.
Oh,
it doesn't...
right.
It looks like it's all stitched together. But, yeah.
Right.
So that was... That's it, and I used all of those credits to open boxes to try and get it, and I was able to do so. So I did get the Borg ship, and you know, Daniel got all the extra stuff and that I didn't need from opening all the boxes and whatnot. So yeah, it was good. Hold on one second. I gotta yell at a small dog. Marvel, get up on your bed. Sorry. But yeah,
On your bed.
So there was that, and then I was able to earn enough money from selling that stuff that I didn't need out of it to get the final two ship. How do I explain this? So they had these ginormous ships that were called Herald ships, which were a new race that was introduced called the Voth. It doesn't matter, but they look like you know how like they have that thing from Aliens that attaches to your face, the face hugger.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what the ship looks like. It looks like a giant ass face hugger in space. And
What?
and they're
Okay, then.
but they're purple, but they're super intimidating. And there were 3 of them. One is a smaller version of that that's like a command ship, and then the smallest one is actually a fighter. Is really nimble, agile fighter. I had the big one, and when you get all 3 of them, there's an individual console on each one, and when you put all 3 together, it creates a portal to the sun in space that shoots sun laser beams at whatever ship is nearby and irradiates them to death. It's amazing. So I've always wanted to complete that set, and I didn't get it till after this. So I got my Borg ship. I now got the other 2 of those ship. And then I did invest a small amount of money into the game in order to get the one ship that has eluded me. This is their 10th anniversary, and I've been trying to get it for 10 years, which is a blatant lie because the ship only came out 6 years ago. But still, for the last 4 years, I've been trying to get this one ship. It's called the Enterprise J. It is the Enterprise from the 27th century, I believe. And it looks like a pancake, kind of. But it is the largest ship in the game. And it is so ridiculous because I have a console called the Mannheim Effect that you can activate once every 2 minutes that actually summons 2 alternate timeline versions of your ship to fight with you. So I have the largest ship. Like, I went into a raid recently, and one of the other guys is like, "My God, you're blocking the sky." Because it's so big, no one could see around my saucer section of my ship. And so then I use this Mannheim effect, and I get 2 more versions of it that come out. So it's like I'm my own fleet of this ship. It's ridiculous. It has been a lot of fun. I have not played the game probably, I think it's been a year and a half almost that I have not played it because I was mad because I had maxed out and got highest value for all my weapons and gear and all this stuff, and then they announced a new level that was going to take 3 times as much leveling up as it took to get from 1 to 14 just to get to 15. Well, it turned out I guess it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was a lot. It was more, but it wasn't quite that bad. But Daniel was like, "Please come back and play," and I'm like, "Okay." And so yes, I've been playing and I've been having a lot of fun just decimating everything in my sight. So that's been good. So
Destruction is your goal in life.
Yeah, well, I am the Borg, so my job is to assimilate everything. I actually do play a reclaimed Borg.
Assimilate, not disintegrate.
No, it's disintegrate. Yes, if I can't assimilate,
Exterminate.
And that's probably the best part is that in this Borg pack, they now have a space thing and a ground thing that lets you assimilate people by killing them. So, if you kill the like you shoot this giant torpedo, and then it hits the target, and then if you kill the ship after the torpedoes hit it, then you get that ship as part of your fleet of ships. It becomes like a NPC ally, and it has whatever stats it has. It's great.
You have Star Trek necromancy?
Yes, Star Trek. The Borg is Star Trek necromancy, and so on the ground,
Dead.
I've got the same
living
thing.
Things.
I've got the same thing. What the hell? What the hell? There's like rock stuff going off in my house. I don't know where it's coming from. It's creepy. Anyways, so on the ground, you can do it actually faster, and so I have a whole like army of drones that follow me around after I kill a bunch of people. It's great. They're Borg. They get converted to Borg drones. I'm super happy with this update. Let's just put it that way. Great update. And then the other thing that I've been playing, I've only been playing these 2 things, is Anthem. I actually went back, and it's almost a year since launch now, and I wanted to see what they had done, if anything, and they actually did a lot of stuff that makes the game enjoyable to play once again. So they've actually done a lot of. There's an event. I don't know if it's still going on. That's something I do need to check. There was an event that basically, like Destiny and everything else, you're chasing gear number score, but they had like the highest gear possible, and if you did like these event raids, which were the exact same thing as the normal raids, but you did it in the seasonal mode, which meant there were like candy canes and Santa hats and stuff. Anyways, if you did the seasonal versions of the events, and there was snow also. If you did the seasonal versions of the events, you would get the highest level gear possible in the game. I was actually able to take my main gear, which is the Storm, which is the basically the Iron Man Wizard. I was able to get it to legendary status, so everything was legendary, and it was very good. And Ken and my old crew that I originally ran with when the game came out, which was Ken and Sean and myself, are back together doing that again, and we've been doing that pretty often recently. So that's been a lot of fun. I actually really think the game's improved. It's been a lot of fun. It still has like only 4 things in the store that that swap out every week, and most 3 of the things are the same, and there's only 1 thing that changes. So that kind of sucks on that side. But they have streamlined a lot of the UI stuff and made it a lot easier to jump directly into missions. It's actually I'm kind of digging it again. And I always liked the gameplay loop. It was just I ran out of stuff to do, and they were so stingy on the drops that it was no good. But I made a lot of progress during this event, and I'm curious to see if they're going to keep the event going so that people can make more progress. But yeah, so far it's been fun, and that's the only thing I've been doing as far as playing. Watching, really only. I'm thinking if there was anything else. I think there's only really been 2 things. We started a new Netflix series. Actually,
hold up a sec. Oh, are you guys losing his audio too, or is it just
A little
me?
bit.
Maybe, but
Okay.
First, for me, your little screen down there got all in the 4-way. Your screen got like half of it was completely blurry, and then it fixed itself.
okay.
No, for me that was towards my dad.
Oh yeah.
I figured.
He's been blinking on mine too. So the first one's called Glow Up, and it is a makeup artist competition. And the interesting thing is it's all aspects of makeup artistry. So it's theater, it's special effects, it's runway, it's red carpet, it's all these different things, and these people have to like adapt and do stuff. It is really interesting. It's a UK. What just happened? What did I do? You got massive on my screen, Matt. I don't know what I did. It's fine. I'll deal with it. Hold on.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine. Oh, you know what happened? My streaming elements somehow disappeared. God, why is this so hard? All the time. That's really weird. I don't know what happened. Like, it got bigger somehow. I hit the space bar and it did something. I don't know what's going on. Alright, it doesn't matter. Anyways, so that's super good. It's only 10 episodes. Very, very interesting stuff. And then the other one that we were watching, which I would have never pegged as something that I would watch, is called Next in Fashion. But the reason that it was interesting is it's because about fashion designers who are doing a bunch of crafting challenges. Like, they're making entire outlooks would normally take them like months to do to make one outfit that they made by hand for somebody. they're doing in 3 days or 2 days, and it's crazy. Sometimes it's like two whole outfits, whatever. And I've never been a big arts and crafts person, but kind of making it on NBC that I've been watching previously has really kind of like gotten me into that. And these people are so creative. I would never have been able to think of it's like a foreign language that I don't speak, and I'm interested to see other people's thought processes and how they get from A to B, and it's pretty interesting stuff. And I think that is 8 episodes, if I remember right, also on Netflix. And then I've been watching wrestling, and wrestling has been great. I saw a man get 10 lashings with a belt on live TV. My wife was in tears by the end of it. It did its job. And that's it for me.
Okay.
Matt, why don't we do... Unless Matt can't hear me.
Yeah, what? Everyone else go ahead. I needed to reset my router or something tonight, and now the girls are streaming something, and it has completely killed all internet connectivity in the house.
Okay. So how about you, Keegan?
Okay.
Oh, that's not it.
So, first up, I'll go through the anime that I've seen recently. So, I finished Special A, which took way longer than it should have to finish because just schedule and finding time to watch it. Over Christmas break, I don't believe there was been one since then. I watched the first season of Iron-Blooded Orphans. It's Gundam. Then there was also one weekend where me and a couple guys from the swim club binged watched Made in Abyss, which is actually a lot better than what I was expecting. Like, that is pretty good. So I would recommend anyone to watch it. Just yeah. Then so that's Then also I went to the club's name is Spam, but it stands for Society. Wait, no, that's the. I thought it was something along the lines of Society of Anime and Manga Maniacs, but I don't know why this P is there then. So maybe I have it wrong, but whatever. We watch anime, and because of my class, on Tuesdays I can't make it till later, so I miss some of the stuff. But what we've watched 2 weeks ago, we watched Spirited Away and Modica Magic. Yeah, that's the name. Then this last week, we watched, when I was there, I saw the very ending of the Demon Slayer first episode, which, of course, I've already seen the entirety of Demon Slayer.
Did you watch Goblin Slayer, or did you watch Goblin Slayer or read it yet?
No, I have not watched Goblin Slayer.
Dude, you need to watch Goblin Slayer.
Okay, I'll get around to it at some point. I have a long list of anime I need to watch, half of which I'll probably never actually get around to. So I'll see if I get around to it. We watched Orosuki. I butchered that. Say Orosuki. Yeah, that's how you say it. Which is a parody rom-com, which I've actually seen the entirety again, but saw the first episode again at that club meeting. Then I half watched a Kill la Kill episode, which was in the middle of the series, which doesn't do so. I wasn't paying very much attention since it was in the middle of the series and there were other guys there, so I was kind of talking with them. Then the next one after that was Land of Lustrious, which that was actually kind of interesting. Of course, we only saw the first episode, so I don't know if it's going to be good interesting or what, but it was interesting. I'm looking forward to see how that goes. And the last one was Mononoke, and not Mononoke Princess. Its name is just Mononoke, and it used kind of like older traditional Japanese art style, and it seemed like it had to do with yokai. And first episode was fairly vague, so I don't know all of what it's about, but there appears to be yokai, and it's in old traditional Japanese art style. So that's it on the anime front. Then for manga, so I just started reading a manga called Kyoku Suri, Suri.
Sweetie?
Suri? Yeah,
Suri.
something like that.
Suri.
Yeah.
So Kyoku Suri, which there's actually an anime of this anime season, but I saw the manga and I was like, I'm gonna read that, and I like it so far. It's each chapter's like 70 to 80 pages, so it takes a good amount of time to read, and so it lasts a while, and it's about a girl who was made into a god of yokai. It's more of they took her leg and eye and then made her their wisdom god, basically. So whenever they need help with something, they go to her. And then there's this guy who is a part who I yeah there's a guy who ate yokai when he was 11, which granted him special abilities. Oh, they're not like. Oh, I don't want to spoil much or anything in case anyone's watching that wants to watch it or not. So, but I'm really enjoying it, and yeah. Then some chapters for manga that I've been reading came out today, so I read them. So Hinawa got Yuku. Can't say words. Which I had actually given up on the site where I read my manga to actually post the next chapters because there's a lot more chapters out there than are on the app. So I actually wasn't expecting that, so that was a nice surprise. But of course, it ended in the middle of something, so now I'm like, gotta wait for the next one. Um, I'm not even gonna try and pronounce this one, but it's one I've mentioned before, and it's about that disappeared. There's an assassin that it's it's an isekai where with this assassin guy, and yeah. And oh yes, also Boku no Hero Vigilante also had a new chapter. No, yeah, that one. Yeah, that was one of the ones with a new chapter today that I read, and so I got caught up on those. Oh yes, and for games, I recently finished Fire Emblem Three Houses, my first playthrough.
Nice.
And is that all? Yeah, I think that's all of the stuff I've done since last time we've checked in.
Cool. All right. Mitchell, how about you?
Alright, things I've been watching. Bleach, My Hero Academia, One Piece, still keeping up with that. Black Clover, and that's about all I can think of for shows. I mean, I've been watched a couple things on Netflix as well, but they were the latest season of The Magician. I haven't finished that yet, but I've been watching it on Netflix.
Yeah, that's on my list. Haven't got there yet.
Let's see. Trying to think if there's anything else major that I watched on there. Nothing I can think of off the top of my head. Been playing some more Pokemon Sword. Managed to finish up my decks. And then I also finished my second playthrough of Three Houses and have started working on the third a bit. And then random phone games. And then that's been about it. Actually, there's been one phone game that's been kind of interesting if you're into philosophy and psychology kind of things, called Alter Ego. It's, for all intents and purposes, it's a tapper, but it's pretty interesting if you're into philosophy or psychology kind of stuff. It also references a couple psychological literatures as part of the game mechanics. By both Japanese, German, from across different countries, and even gives small excerpts for you to read from it from time to time.
I forgot.
So yeah,
I forgot two things. The first one is I picked up. I gotta hold it, or otherwise it disappears. I picked up The Way of the House Husband. It's a manga about a yakuza who just one day decides he wants to become a house husband instead. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
interesting.
I also got my Humans in Offices t-shirt, which this is like the best t-shirt I've ever seen because it's dragons sitting around a table playing Humans in Offices. That's pretty ace. And then I also forgot to mention that I went to Mystery Science Theater 3000 live, Joel Hodgson's last tour of making the rounds, doing it, and I saw what was it called? Circus of Horrors, which was basically the story was about Nazi plastic surgeons who inherited a circus in a shady deal and then used the circus to become famous circus people, but also would lure young women into the circus to do plastic surgery to them to make them look beautiful, but then would kill them when they tried to leave the circus because they were beautiful and make it look like accidents. And there's question marks in there, and then profit. I'm not sure, actually, after an hour and a half of watching the movie, what the plot of the movie was, but it did have Donald Pleasance with hair. So that was also very strange. Donald Pleasance, a very old actor who was bald a lot. And he had hair in this, and it was very weird. I actually didn't recognize that it was him for a hot minute. And I'm forgetting something else, by the way.
Well, I remembered something else. So,
What's up?
also over winter break, I got the entirety of the Kame Ga Killed Zero series. It's a manga. It's the prequel to a Kame Ga Kill. So, and I read through that and enjoyed it. It was good to see the story before Akame Ga Kill and see where Akame came from.
Matt, did you reset your router?
Yeah, I think I'm better now.
You're
guys
hearing everything
We'll be
all
the
right?
judge of that, sir.
Well, I thought that I'm actually able to hear you all again instead of. So I think I'm better. So we'll see.
Okay.
Your closet's intimidating me. Just looking at it.
That's but a third. The other
know.
2/3 is downstairs.
I know,
Well,
I
actually, there's a fourth third all over my floor. So
Fourth third.
One more third and you become a bank. I'm just warning you.
yes, exactly. That is the most confusing name for a bank ever, by the way. But yeah,
Third?
anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
5/3 bank. Okay, whatever. So I'm still. I guess I'll start with the short. I don't have a ton here, but I'll start from the short and go to the less short. The only movie I've watched this year so far is not a movie of this year. So, and that's Shazam, which was actually pretty tolerable. It seemed to try to take a lot of the MCU style beats and apply it to what is admittedly a goofy character, but they did it well. If you're going to have somebody play a giant 14-year-old, Zachary Levi is probably the right choice. That or Jimmy Kimmel Fallon. I always get those two mixed up for some reason. Yeah. he's the giant goofball who can't not laugh at his own jokes.
Or Mark. Mark could have done a pretty good job with that too.
Yeah.
Markiplier Mark, not that Mark.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what Mark you were talking about. I was just going to agree with you and hope you went away. I'm still reading Leviathan Rises, which is the first book of The Expanse, the series that the Expanse TV show is based on. So far, honestly, there's not a lot of divergence. There are some of the characters that I think are better flushed out by having the internal monologue. Wow, the internal monologue, because especially early on, characters aren't always around other characters to have that exposition out in the open. So I found Miller to be much more understandable in the book than he was in the show. So that's been good, but slow going. On the game front, I started and finished a game called Observation, which is published by Devolver. Don't remember who the developer is on it off the top of my head. I'm sitting next to a computer. I'm sure I could look it up. But it's a game where you play the AI on a space station where something has gone horribly, horribly, horribly wrong. And yeah, so you are the AI and you jump from camera to camera and try to help as you're asked to fix things, go here, look for this, find that, do the kind of stuff. It's an interesting twist, I guess, on, something like a Telltale game, except or a Gone Home or something like that. There's no combat. It's just you going from spot to spot of the space station, trying to help figure out what's going on and get things survivable. So yeah, and yeah, there's a healthy dose of weird mixed in.
And developer was No Code.
No Code, which did something else too. That name is really familiar at the moment. What else have they done?
5 seconds.
Okay.
Stories Untold.
Nope, that's not what I was thinking of.
That's the only other thing Google came up with. So.
Okay. Name strikes a chord somewhere, but anyway, maybe it's just because I saw it on the splash screen a lot. Who knows? So yeah.
House Abandoned, Super Arclight.
Nope, none of those are ringing any bells. So
All right.
So yeah, I enjoyed it. It is a very slow game though. And it does kind of expect you to play it in a very short period because it teaches you obscure mechanics and then several beats later expects you to remember them. So the way I play games where it's very broken up does not necessarily work well with that. But yeah, it was a good game. I enjoyed it. Had some 2001-ish type vibes with, you're playing a character that has amnesia, so a computer with amnesia. So you don't know whether you're really helping or hurting people. Then I started back up on Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. I started that a while back and kind of said, I don't like this and quit. And so I just said, all right, it's been a bit now. I played a lot of Kingdom Hearts back to back. Maybe I can do this. It was a touch more tolerable getting back into it, so I think I'll make it through. Although the beginning of the game focuses heavily on the World Ends With You characters, and I never finished The World Ends With You. And so when I got to the end of Traverse Town, I immediately messaged Mitchell and said, what the ever-loving heck happened at the end of The World Ends With You? Because none of that made sense.
And in typical Nomura fashion, the answer is...
The world ended.
It doesn't really make much sense. It's a bit heady.
It's right in the title.
It didn't, though. The World Ends With You is actually a reference to the philosophy that is given to Neku throughout the series throughout the length of the game.
You're
not to actual literal...
You're taking my comic inflection way too seriously. Way too seriously.
As per my usual fashion.
I also tried out. I think I've mentioned before that I've been downloading all of the Epic Store freebies that I can as they come along. And one of them from last year was called Bad North, the Jotun edition. So I tried that out. It is a RTS light where you're given a couple of units and you're island hopping in the North Atlantic and have to defend these islands that you land on from invaders that come in on boats. So it's a little bit tower defense and a little bit RTS, but there's no resource collection or anything. It's strictly just getting your units in to intercept the enemy units before they destroy the buildings or whatever it is on the base. And then if you succeed, you get coins, and then you use coins to power up your units and carry on as far as you can. And it's procedurally generated, so every time's different. All of the units are led by a general, and you never get the same general twice. It's permadeath, so when you get wiped in that play, that general's name is gone forever. And so it's got some sort of semi-random or huge list of names that it goes through. I'm not sure exactly what, but then on the TV front, I finished Star Wars Resistance Season 2, which is also the end of the series. For a series that started off very, 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 very poorly. They managed to tie it up pretty well and give it a good ending. The last six or so episodes were actually, okay, this series can actually pull itself together and not be completely insane. So that's good. I'm up to episode 7 on The Magician Season 4. I think I'm a little bit behind you, Mitchell. I watched Runaways Season 3, which is the end. Mm-hmm. There are no more Runaways. Also features the last appearance of Cloak and Dagger from the Freeform show. They have a crossover episode, which obviously
canceled.
That got canceled as well. It obviously set up for a Runaways guest in the next season of Cloak and Dagger, which isn't going to happen. So, and then I've been working on Lost in Space Season 2, and I'm about half.
I
and then
watched that too. Yeah.
Oh, you got through the whole thing, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I remember getting all the way through.
And then I picked this up. This came out actually a couple weeks ago, but my pre-order got lost, so it didn't show up till this last week. But Sea of Stars. Oh, wow. That's a lot of glare. It's a book by Jason Aaron and Dennis Hallam, also known as Dennis Hopeless. Used to go by Dennis Hopeless, and then it's been Dennis Hopeless Hallam, and then this one he's just credited as Dennis Hallam. The artist is Stephen Green, not someone I'm familiar with, but it's a very interesting sci-fi story. It's really a story about a family, and it's kind of got elements of Lost in Space, but it's also not at all. If that makes any sense whatsoever. But it also has the new character that I think may actually be my spirit animal instead of Rocket Raccoon. And he has no name at the moment but Space Monkey, so we refer to him as Space Monkey. So if anybody saw my Facebook banner, I regret everything. That's Space.
Oh, okay.
Okay, got it.
I saw that. What's that?
I was going to ask you about why you had a weird monkey alien in space saying that.
What was about to eat him? Was it a dragon, or what was facing him? If it's a T-Rex, or...
Well, spoilers in case anyone wants to read the book.
Okay.
Yeah, we can talk about it later. But
okay.
First of all, Mr. J Nice, thanks for subscribing. You are a rock star. Also, Drogodan, I don't understand what sports ball references are. And third, Matt, I regret everything is a good one. I'm not gonna
the whole sequence is actually really good. And the character is not supposed to be understandable. You're not supposed to, but because of events that have happened in the book, you can understand. But it's like bad localization. is how he talks. So it's pretty funny. It's
great.
It's like really bad, like JoJo level bad English portions, like that bad.
He
You
hasn't
haven't
watched
seen JoJo's,
JoJo's
so-
though.
He doesn't. know
I
what
haven't,
that
but
is.
it's like
But
he
like
says,
really bad
still-
English sections in like anime.
No, it's not. It's not that. It's just like, it's an excuse to like have him not really swear, so his swears come in weird. So it comes like stink farts instead of So it's just a weird. And then it's just some of the phrasings are weird. There's like
Probably closer to how Pyrrha talks in Three Houses. Petra, yeah.
there's one
Had the
part.
wrong name. Pyrrha's from Ruby.
There's one part where a character introduces the two of them as Space Monkey and Space Dolphin, and his response is, "Those names are stupid. Those ain't our names." It's just very, very choppy, very almost, just bad localization kind of way of saying things. So it's an entertaining book. I'm liking it. Jason Aaron obviously is pretty much a superstar in the comics realm right now. Dennis also is very, very well known. They've been doing huge things in the Marvel space.
You reminded me. This is important. I needed to tell you this. So there's two guys in wrestling right now. They have dirt sheets. I don't know if you know what the dirt sheets are.
Nope.
Back when wrestling was it was portrayed to the public still as real. That's called kayfabe, right? And the dirt sheets were the ones that gave you the peek behind the curtain, right? They would tell you about, this guy's feuding with this guy in real life. They don't like each other or whatever, or what's going on with the companies or whatever. So there's this one guy named Jim Cornette who is basically old man yelling at clouds, and that's what he does. Except that he involves hate and he calls people names and sucks. But he wants wrestling to forever remain and look real, 100% real. And the times have kind of passed him by because there's a lot more flippy stuff. That's not what people call it. People call it flippy. What you were saying, stink farts.
Right.
And I like the flippy stuff. But anyways, so that there's this guy. And there's another guy named Dave Meltzer, who's like, some people think he might be on the spectrum, but he is, like his co-host will say, we have a million things to talk about, and he'll be like, you complete deadpan. Well, not a million. He's like one of those guys, but he's all about analyzing the business and reporting stats and numbers. Anyways, they got into it on Twitter, big huge fight, and someone on Reddit turned it into a comics argument about how we only need these types of writers to do these types of stories. And basically he took the position of Cornette, the old man yelling at clouds, about the new, we don't need all these fancy new colors or $5.99 books that are going to, ruin the industry. It was like, oh my God, it made my day, and I thought of you immediately. I actually sad I didn't. If I would have linked you to this, you would have gotten the crux of the arguments like immediately, because this guy knew his comics because he was making like actual real like references to be. I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. Anyways.
Can I say though, they just released some art for Thor #3, and I'm way behind on Thor, so I'm nowhere near this. But whatever they do for coloring lightning these days is insane. It literally looks like it's on light.
The advent of color laser printers has allowed them to create colors that did not exist 5 years ago.
Yeah,
new colors.
Yep,
it's insane. You look at some of those effects and you swear the page is glowing. It's like, jeez.
Yeah. So sorry.
And
I apologize for derailing you, but yes, please continue.
No. That was actually it. It's actually been a pretty light couple of weeks.
Nier Automata. I forgot about Nier Automata.
You forgot
How did I forget about Nier Automata?
You didn't get through all the endings. Well, not all the endings, but you didn't get through all the main ones, did you?
No, I'm in the third main story playthrough right now. But yeah, I've been playing that too.
Matt, Drogonin
What?
says, I saw a cover with Spider Hulk. I've got no idea what's going on.
I have that issue. It's right there. I haven't read it yet. I don't know what's going on either.
I mean, it's
an
still the
Immortal Hulk.
fallout from the Venom storyline, isn't it?
I honestly, I
Or
have
the
no idea. I don't
Carnage.
think so. With the Venom, no, it was Venom Carnage. Oh, Carnage
Yeah, Maximum
Unlimited.
Carnage. Yeah,
Carnage
Unlimited. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it was. What was it? I've already forgotten what it was.
So let
But-
me get this straight. There's now 4 Hulks, right? There's Mr. Fix-It.
Oh,
There's the Devil Hulk, which is the Immortal Hulk. There is Banner, and then there is the Green Goliath.
okay. As far as I know, Immortal Hulk is the only Hulk. But I am about a year behind on Hulk comics
Oh.
too. So
Oh, wow. Okay. So you haven't read? I thought you were reading Immortal Hulk.
I was, and I was keeping up very well, and then I wasn't.
Got
That's
it.
about how it goes.
That's how that goes.
Yeah. All right.
But I mean, Immortal Hulk was basically, at least at the point where I was reading, he was basically a combination of. Well, he was the old original Gray Hulk. He wasn't Joe Fixit, but he was that old original Gray Hulk, except he
I-
wasn't gray.
I don't think that's the case anymore.
That may not be. Like I said,
Yeah,
I am
sorry.
I am a bit behind. But-
Because that came into the Maxima or the Ultimate Carnage thing, because when Carnage tried to take him over, it was a conversation between
all the personalities, there's
Right.
still only one physical Hulk. But yeah, the
Oh
multiple
yeah. There's
personalities-
only but I think they brought Joe back
They
recently.
may have. Oh yeah, he's got the personalities bouncing
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's what you're saying.
That's all
yeah,
I was
yeah.
saying is there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The personalities are still bouncing around in his head. It's
So
just,
wait, Hulk has a 4-way dissociative system in his brain?
Oh yeah,
more
yeah.
than 4.
It's actually more than 4, but the
More than
four dominant ones.
Hulk is Moon Knight now?
Hulk has
Hulk's
been
always
this way
been,
from the
yeah.
beginning.
Well, I know he's been like
and he's
split
older
between
than-
Banner and him, but I
No,
mean,
he's older than Moon Knight too. So technically, Moon Knight.
well, yeah.
Yeah, but that was Moon Knight's shtick from the get. I mean, yeah, they don't. There's been periods where they focused on it more and less, right? So sometimes it's more about the personalities, and he's been locked into different personalities for long periods and not acknowledged the other ones until a writer comes along that wants to do
Right.
something with one of them.
And I mean, Banner
Right.
Hulk was the most interesting one because it was a melding of there was no Devil Hulk at that point, that we know of. But
Yeah.
the Banner Hulk was the merging of Banner, the Green Hulk, and the Gray Hulk, and into one persona that was like 8 feet tall and had the intelligence of Banner and had full control over his powers until he did.
Wow.
Right, and then there was Dr. Green, who was
The full combination of Banner's mind with Hulk's strength.
Yes,
Banner's.
and then there
Yeah.
And then there was the Maestro, which was the alternate future version of Banner Hulk that decided to kill all of the superheroes and basically rule the universe, and successfully did it. And then there's Worldbreaker Hulk, which was just Green Hulk, but he was Green Hulk for so long that he finally started to. He adopted some of Banner's persona, but became the strongest there was after destroying a planet, basically.
Yeah. And then there was Savage Hulk, who was
There was Savage Hulk.
kind of like Wolverine Hulk.
Yeah.
Saying.
But then-
So long story short, Hulk is complicated.
The Hulk's very complicated because then there's technically Rick Jones Hulk, who was
A-bomb?
no, this is way before A-bomb. Poor Rick Jones, like Banner was trying to rid himself of the Hulk, and he did it, and projected it onto Rick Jones instead. So then Rick Jones was stuck with the Hulk. and couldn't control anything. And then, Hulk's super fascinating, but it really depends on the writer. Because most of the writers don't go into that stuff, and it's just like Hulk smash, and that's very boring. But
it's like when a writer remembers that Peter Parker's like the fifth smart planet, and all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, he can solve problems with his mind.
Yeah. He's not just a quipper.
Yeah, but Al Ewing on Immortal Hulk has it's a legendary run. This is going to be one of the greats. I mean, I'm not caught up, but even with what I have read and what I know of what's coming, and there right now he is the only Hulk. Technically, Amadeus is like kind of Hulkish, but not really.
I thought he got his god powers back. Like his
again, I'm a bit. No, he didn't get the way they explained it. The last I saw, the nanites that were supposed to kill the Hulk power instead somehow fused a small portion of the Hulk power with the remnant of the Hercules power and then made him the new thing that he is.
Sure.
But he's still Hulk-ish because he's slightly green, but he's the size.
So he's Hulkules?
Sure. Go with that.
Give him a prize. No problem.
Oh boy.
You
don't need to help him. You realize that you don't need to help him.
Yeah, I like this. Hopefully. That is what he is from now on. Fantastic.
I think his name is actually Braun, but yeah, close enough.
Hercules. I approve of this message. There was something else. So I've decided that the X-Men writers are absolutely insane, and I absolutely love it.
Well, Hickman is. Yeah, he's completely insane.
I really like what they're doing with the new X-Men and X-Force. It's like it gives them a way to tell stories that they've never told before, and suddenly it's like super interesting. Oh, and the other thing that I found out, I have a favor to ask of you, if you would. In my box of comics that you have, I believe there is a Walking Dead #1 in there. I believe. I can't remember if it's a first or second print, but I just happened to look online to look at what the first prints were going for. And I will squeal like nuts if I do have it. But I have a feeling it's second print, if I even have one at all. I think I do, but I'm not positive.
Well, let's look.
Let's look.
This is going to take a while. It's a long box. So.
Yeah, it's with the non-X-Men stuff, which is all grouped together, I think. So that should make it easier. But while you look at that, I have to talk about the other thing that happened today that I am like absolutely giddy over. My loving wife has never pre-ordered video games before, and she's never pre-ordered collector's edition stuff. And so what I told her I wanted for my birthday this year, which my birthday, Valentine's Day, all that stuff rolled into one, was I wanted the first class edition of Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is like $350. It's ridiculous, but it does come with a Cloud Strife on his motorcycle, which is a figure that I used to have when I owned the shop, along with a Highwind and a bunch of other stuff that I regret selling, very much so. So I really wanted that. And that's the other thing we need to do when you're done, Matt, is we need to all watch that video so I can cry on camera. Because that trailer is amazing. And the game looks too good to be true. But anyways, I managed, on the 30th of this month, they sent me an email. So anyways, the point is she never pre-ordered that stuff before. So she totally didn't pre-order it. And of course they sold out of them. And I've been kicking myself for the last 4 months that I didn't explain it better when I was trying to tell her what I want. And so I put myself on the wish list. And on the 30th, they sent me an email saying that they had more in stock and if I wanted one, I needed to pre-order then. And I didn't see the email until the 3rd. And so by the time I went, they were sold out again. And so this morning I'm working, and I'm just about to go into a meeting, and I got the email, additional stock added. If you want one, get it now. And so I'm like, nope, no meeting. I'm not doing nothing until I get this damn thing reserved. And so I went and I got it reserved, and so I got it. Any luck? No? No? Okay. I couldn't remember. I know I did get at least a second edition one, which is like $150. But
if you have it, it's in a different box. Because
No, what I'm saying is, I know when I was at a conference I got one, but okay. I don't know that I actually kept it. I have no idea.
All that's in there that's not X-Men is 3 New Waves, a signed BSG number 0, and a Flash comic.
Oh, okay, great. Thanks for
everything else. No problem.
Yeah, I figured that was the case. But yeah, so I got that. So we can't all watch this together. We're gonna have to like watch it independently, but I'll show it on the screen. I don't care if I get a
you could.
What?
Do you think if you turned on the screen share, that would work, or?
But you still won't be able to hear it. Is the problem?
Oh, true. Yeah.
So, I think what we need to do is we all need to agree on a version. So, like, if we go to YouTube.com and I pull up Final Fantasy 7 theme trailer, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think that's what's called. Theme trailer.
Okay, let's do the PlayStation one.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, but you gotta give me a second because I need to capture that real quick. So
yeah, I'll copy the link into the thing.
Okay.
So add source, screen cap, smart selection, and then we'll get all of this because this trailer I wanted
is awesome.
Well, I wanted to talk about it is really the big thing. Hold on, and let me make this bigger.
So are we going to go through the whole thing and then talk about it, or are you going to?
Yeah, we're going to go through the whole thing and then talk about it, and
okay.
I can scrub live once that's the case. All right, thanks for the love, Mr. J Nice. Aw, yay. Okay, let me know when everybody has it up.
Up.
All right, so I'm at 000. You're up too, Matt.
Yep.
All right, so we'll start it in 3, 2, 1, go.
So, what did you want to talk about?
When spring comes, I'm leaving town. I'm going to Midgar. I'm going to be a soldier. The best of the best. Like Sephiroth. Tell me, is it really you?
Are we on schedule?
Please, Mr. President, I am asking you to reconsider. No, begging.
Director Twisty.
The stench of the director's cowardice fills the room yet again.
Mako supersaturation confirmed.
Engaging materia cooling to reduce temperature.
Madam Director, you have a meeting shortly.
Stop. Your timing is impeccably atrocious.
Oh dear, oh dear. A man of my refined taste running out of butter.
Welcome to the Honeybee Inn, Cloud. True beauty is an expression of the heart. A thing without shame, to which notions of gender don't apply. Perfection.
Not a word.
Not even one?
No!
But you're so pretty.
Today's right to be is...
Today's?
Pathetic.
Huh? Which one of you said that? You got a mouth on you!
Well, aren't we having a wonderful time kicking the hornet's nest?
You know what I want. A second dance. Just the two of us.
So what the hell is it?
A fascinating question.
Oh, did it just talk?
I am that which you see before you. Nothing more. A touching reunion.
Very, very good. And thus is the hypothesis proven correct. I can only hope you will continue not to disappoint.
It's getting tired of playing tag anyway.
Come on.
Avalanche ain't Futa or anybody.
We're here to rescue Aerith, remember? We don't need more attention than what we're gonna get.
Yeah, I hear you.
I know these people, and I know they're never gonna let Aerith go. She's the last living ancient on the planet. Think about what that means to Shinra's scientists.
This is
The source of everything. Genova.
Suck on this!
The Shinra Electric Power Company isn't the real enemy. I promise you, there's a much bigger threat. I just want to do everything in my power to help. All of you. And the planet.
It's so long from now. Okay, so first question. First question was: this is Final Fantasy VII. Yes, it's Final Fantasy VII remake. Will it be on the PC? Yes, but not till a year from now. A year from 4/10/20. They confirmed that this week. I think.
This week, yeah.
PlayStation has a year exclusivity. Then it will come to Xbox and PC. Is an MMO or single player? It is single player. There is no multiplayer whatsoever. And it is not the entirety of the game. This is what they keep not really explaining. Well, this doesn't actually show the box, but it is the first of probably 3 games, I'm guessing. Because this is basically the first disc. This is just Midgar. Now, they did some things in here that were interesting. Like, I'm pretty sure they're going to open the game with this flashback scene. But the interesting thing is that he's talking about, I'm going to be the best of the best, like Sephiroth. That's not in the original. They're introducing Sephiroth way earlier than they did in the original game, which I'm fine with. I mean, it makes sense.
Right.
And then, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I thought he at least made a brief mention of Sephiroth when they did this cutscene in the original game. I thought.
I don't think so. I don't think Sephiroth is even. He's mentioned like once in disc 1.
Yeah, but this scene isn't introduced till almost Niflheim.
Right, and so that, by the way, which looks great in the background, what we can see of it. I'm really interested to see the rest of Niflheim. But Nibelheim. Yeah. Genova also, you don't fight in the first disc. But
I was trying to remember that. I'm trying to remember if there was a Genova scene in there, because I always thought that there might have been one.
Well, you see Genova, but it's in the jar. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't. Okay.
It looks like they've modified that, and that's my only apprehensions for this game. I mean, because the game looks freaking beautiful.
It does.
Granted, I mean, even the non-cutscenes looks great. But the thing that I am worried is we know that they're expanding like on Jesse and Biggs and Wedge and the rest of that group. And we got the new guy who's fighting against Cloud, who's also in Soldier. I do worry that it will bog down the pacing a little bit, but I'm not like that worried about it, I guess is the best way to say it. But I'm a little worried that if you're doing a bunch of side quests with go ahead.
The biggest thing that's going to be hard to get used to this is Mako. I never in a million years pronounced that Mako while I was
Mako.
playing.
It's a Mako.
Yeah, Mako. Which doesn't follow the Japanese pronunciation, but at the time I wasn't even.
Hey, I
paying
love
attention.
that they're going with Aerith, and we're sticking with it now. So I'm fine
With
with
Aerith.
that.
We only have one name for her now.
First time we see Scarlet, and
I don't remember her being that early in the game either.
I don't think she might have just been sitting at the conference table, but other than that, I don't think we see much of her.
So I'm actually kind of surprised, but
the honeybee.
Well, so
did that happen in the original?
Okay, so
kind
hold
of,
on.
but not in that manner.
Yeah, so let's talk about this.
Okay, by the way, there's some spoilers here. We're kind of assuming everyone listening has some basic.
No, I mean you can see what's going on. They're making cross-dressing Cloud, so I don't think there's anything spoiled there. What is different is that I think they have done a good job of modernizing this, right?
Mm-hmm. And does this look like this is a mini game to anyone else?
No, it's not.
So?
No, I don't think it is.
It's going to be a mini game,
because the original one was a mini game, a bunch of mini games. You had to go to the dressmaker, you had to get the makeup and all that.
Well, a bunch of subquests, yeah.
Yeah, and now I think it's just going to happen because it didn't happen at the Honeybee Inn either.
There was
somewhere else. So
couple parts. The Honeybee Inn was part of the puzzle, but yeah.
Yeah, so I don't mind this, and in the original one, everyone was feeling awkward about it, and now it's just kind of Cloud. So I don't mind it. I think it's good. But can I say Aerith's hair looks really good? Is it dumb I'm looking at her hair? Probably, but I am.
It's a nice
detail. Oh, his dress is not purple, but Tifa's is. So I'm all right with that, I guess. Because Cloud's was purple in the original, and said we get Tifa in a purple dress. And Don Corleone is just the right amount of schlock.
Yep.
I mean, I think the voice actors really kind of nail it.
Yeah.
We still don't know who this guy is, but
yeah, he's got a name.
Is he a Crisis Core character or
no? He's a brand new character, I believe.
He's a probably supposedly going to be someone who knows either Cloud or Cloud's template.
Or Zack.
Or Zack or something. Yeah.
That's what I was avoiding saying, but yeah.
When no one else cares.
I don't think you can. I mean, that's been
That's
out
why
for
I called him Cloud's
15
template.
years. I mean, I don't think.
But some people have never played before.
But
well, I mean, if they're not going to play Crisis, if they haven't played Crisis Core already, odds are they
may incorporate elements of Crisis Core. Core.
Okay, true.
I don't think so. They didn't. I don't know. We'll see.
We don't know what they're doing yet, right?
True.
I mean,
Red 13.
They're doing
great.
a lot.
Disc 2
he
might
looks
be
amazing.
Crisis Core for all we know.
Got heterochromia though. If you can actually see it, that his right eye is actually blue, and his left eye is yellow.
The Mako
And
infusion.
the tattoos look great, and his flaming
Yeah,
yellow.
the voice is dead on too. I have no idea what Red 13 should sound like until I heard it out of his mouth.
A fascinating question.
It's 100% correct.
I am what I am before.
And then, that tail's on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did an excellent job bringing him to
He's
this.
actually just a giant Charmander.
Pretty much.
Except more wolf-like than Blizzard-like.
Sephiroth has snake eyes?
What?
They introduced that in Crisis Core, didn't they? As he started to go mad, he got.
Well, yeah, but it's not. I mean, it's also the Mako / Genova.
It's the Genova. It's the Genova.
Yeah, Genova stuff.
Yeah.
And if you notice, that's something I did go back and look at. Cloud's eyes are completely normal in the flashback scene, and then he does have the Genova eyes as you progress into the present day. So I was like, oh, good paying attention to details there.
Now, I don't know who's doing Sephiroth's voice, but that's a pretty good one too.
Yeah.
And Hojo's is spot on. Like,
well,
everything about Hojo is spot on.
The first thing when we started seeing this, I was a little worried. It looked like they were playing this a little too straight, like everything was going to be serious and almost kind of grimdark, where there are grimdark elements in Final Fantasy VII. But with this one, they're like, nope, the goofiness is here, the darkness is here, everything, the whole package is here. So.
Now, this is also something that is a very large departure from the original game, in that Hojo has identified things now, whereas in the game, I don't think it's till like disc 3 in the original. I don't think it's till disc 3 that he puts A and B together to get to C.
Right.
So, yeah.
But I will say, they are changing a lot. But I wonder, I kind of want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. How close do you think this finished project is going to be to what they originally wanted Final Fantasy VII to be or become?
Well,
versus what they were, the restrictions with what they had.
I don't think that's applicable because most of that team is no longer at Square Enix.
Yeah,
true.
So
this is like a reimagining.
Just their own take on
yeah.
it.
Yeah, this team's reimagining of Final and modernizing Final Fantasy VII. I think they've stayed pretty true to the spirit and the feel of it, which is what has me the most excited about it. I'm like this combat system looks friggin' dope. I'm super excited about it. Now, I could have sworn I didn't go back and check this, but I'm pretty sure that this was an elevator boss.
Yeah. And they also made it
not that I care that they moved outside. That's fine.
Yeah, that's one of the harder battles too, because pretty much at that time, if you didn't have Barrett in the party, which I think he had to be in the party at that time, but he was the only one who could reliably deal damage, at least through the first phase of the battle.
Or first look at Leviathan.
Yeah.
It was range damage only that could affect it. But having Leviathan materia already?
Yeah, I think you start
in Midgard?
I think you start the game with it. Actually, I just booted up Final Fantasy VII Remaster. Is that the name of the one on the PS4?
It's the upres. It's the PC version. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have Leviathan and who's the other?
I remember that. I remember just starting with essentially fire and lightning on Cloud for summon materia. I don't even remember have any summon materia that early on.
Yeah, and there is a note on the pre-order that you don't have summoning ability from the get-go, because the one of the pre-orders bonuses is depending on which level you get, it's one or multiple summon materials.
3, baby. 3 of them. I got the one we'll see here in a second. I got this one, which is the Chocobo.
The Chocobo move.
Yeah, that's the one you get just for pre-ordering any edition.
Yep. And then the second one is Cactar. I'm pretty sure it's Cactar. And the third one is
Carbuncle, isn't it?
Carbuncle, yes. Which we have not seen the Cactar or the Carbuncle, so no.
And those come with the special edition.
Yes.
And higher. So the $70 one and up.
Yes.
I want to see this game's version of Bahamut and Neo Bahamut.
You and me both. I want to see freaking Night of the 12 Nights of the Round.
Where are they going to cut the line? Is the wonder question. So are you going to see the classics here? Are you going to see the Shiva, the Ifrit,
they've already
got Leviathan. They've teased Shiva, but we haven't actually seen Shiva.
Yeah, we have.
We've seen.
Shiva,
we've seen Ifrit. We've seen Shiva.
And
have we seen Rama?
Rama's not in 7.
We have not seen Rama.
He wasn't in 7.
He wasn't in 7?
I don't think he was in 7.
Who was the lightning one in 7 instead then?
That's what I'm trying to think of, but I can't at the moment. I'm pretty sure it was Rama.
Was it the horse?
Well, there's Odin, but that's not lightning.
No, like the unicorn thing from 10.
Oh.
I don't think so.
That I remember, but I'm not remembering very well.
Now
I know Titan. Titan will be in it, but you don't get Titan until you're out of Midgar, so...
Yeah, Rama's in there.
Okay. Was it?
I thought he was, but...
I don't remember. He must have... must have looked.
You might have missed it.
You only got him from the Gold Saucer, so if you didn't...
Oh.
Might have been it. I might have never actually picked him up.
I really like this particular scene I don't think I can like scrub.
Oh, is
frame
it
by
the
frame.
which particular scene you
This guy, the cylindrical thing with the eyes. I remember thinking when I played through the game originally that this looked like a menacing monster, and it looks even more like a menacing monster here.
Right.
I'm really liking how they've
Like-
updated all these models and turned them into full 3D.
like the Magitech armor things you're talking about, yeah?
Yeah. This Tifa scene where you get to you're playing as Tifa.
And I know they're never gonna let Aerith go.
That dude, I don't know that I'm.
She's the last living
gonna
ancient
stop
on the
playing
planet.
Tifa. 'Cause that looks like it's just really fun.
punch, kick, flip.
Yeah, I mean that's. Matt, do you remember the guy that went on to do Ruby, RWBY?
Monty Ohm?
Yeah, Monty Ohm. Do you remember the old Monty Ohm Final Fantasy versus
right,
Dead
they
or
do the
Alive?
fighting. Yeah.
It looks like that's what you're playing.
Kind of, yeah.
It really does look like you're playing as Tifa being in one of those, and I'm just sad that he didn't get to see it. Super sad about it.
She's the last living ancient.
I think
on the
playing
planet.
Red's going to be fun once we get to see some
Think
Red
about
gameplay, because
that
that's going
means
to
to
be
show
drastically different than any of the characters.
Yeah.
Just based on what he is.
Well,
Yeah.
wait till friggin' Kate Sith.
Oh,
That's
yeah?
all I gotta say. And I mean,
That's,
Kate Sith
I'd imagine
and,
that'd be more support focused, though, but...
and
I don't
Vincent
know.
and
Vincent will be interesting. And Yuffie. Yuffie's
Yeah.
ranged, too, so that'd be fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, how do I... Is there a way that I can I... No, it takes me like 5 seconds. Wait, can I do shift? No. How about alt? No. Oh,
Are you trying to get the Aerith scene?
No, I'm trying to get the beginning of the Genova fight.
Oh, okay.
Because there is there's a screen that is only on pause. Well, there's that one as well, which I don't want to necessarily talk about. But it's in the trailer, so can I talk about it or not? I mean, literally.
I mean...
Oh, yeah, but it's not identified, really. But you know.
Well, all right, whatever.
I don't know what's going on there.
Wait, this right here?
Hold on, I gotta see if I can pause it right at the right time.
Everything.
Yeah. If you look at Genova, terrifying.
Ooh.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't go back 1 second. Let's see if I can get it 304.
Yeah, it
It's
looks
on there
freaky.
for only like a split second.
But yeah, Genova... I mean, I always thought
Look at that.
Genova's polygon model looks freaky, but, I mean...
This is like pure Resident Evil nightmare fodder.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot.
It kind of makes you wonder why. How I assume they're not changing the origin or what it is, but why making it that way is interesting. Is that the way it's supposed to be, or is that because of what happened? Or
I think so, and I think it's partially because, I mean, all the Genovas you fight throughout the game aren't Genova Prime, so to say. They're fragments, kind of clone things, as I understood it.
And the other thing that's new is
The ghosts.
the Dementor.
Yeah.
well, that kind of reminds me of
the Cetric ghosts when you're in the temple, to me, kind of, but...
I was thinking more Advent Children.
Oh, right, yeah, those
Yeah,
things.
could be. Yeah, but you know, it's like I'm glad that even having played the first one to the original one to death, there's going to be new stuff in this, and I think that's why I'm excited about it.
This is like a good reboot. At least it seems like right now, where it's familiar, but it's not identical. It's like the MCU version of Final Fantasy VII.
And that's what you need to do when you create new things based off of something.
I mean, if this sells
I imagine
the
there's
way-
going to be pushback, though, but...
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well,
There's
I
always
mean, it's the
that.
internet age.
Yeah,
Nobody
true.
can be happy. But I mean, seriously, if this sells the way I think it's going to sell, I'm pretty sure Square's just going to stop making new games and start doing remakes of their old games
for
forever.
Capcom.
Yep.
I mean,
I mean, seriously, it's I cannot wait. Yeah,
You're
I don't
probably
even
right.
know. I don't even know when I get mine now. But I'm telling you that the streaming schedule will be me playing Final Fantasy VII Remake whenever I can play it, except on Monday nights. Monday nights will be the only time I don't, but the rest of the time it will be whenever I can play Final Fantasy VII Remake, I will be playing it on stream nonstop. We're going to deep dive so far into that I'm sure all 2 viewers that we have will disappear because they are sick of seeing me play Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Are you trying to grind out the ultimate weapons before you get past the first story element?
So this is the real question, right?
That
This is the
doesn't-
question
wait,
that
what?
I am the most apprehensive about. What the flark are they going to do when I max level at the end of this game? And then they come out with a new game. Am I going to import my save? What the hell is going to happen? Because also keep in mind that after this releases, and then before the next one comes out, there's a new console. I better freaking be able to import my saves from PS4 to PS5 somehow. I'm like super worried about this.
I think Cloud Save has us covered on that. I mean,
Cloud-
that's a plus only
Cloud
thing.
Save?
Cloud Save, yeah.
And there might be a lower level lock for this game, so when you go to the next game, you can't actually be the max level of the next game.
You want to,
Right, but still
going to
be like your
go
level.
insane. That's a way to make people go insane.
Level lock them at 25.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a couple ways to go by it. Either they're going to have to put a level cap in that's going to have to not be 99, or they'll have to the game will just have to scale.
Yeah, auto scaling.
I'm thinking that's probably what it is.
So it doesn't really do you any good to power level for the long.
Tell me that anyways, but I'm going to do it nonetheless.
I know you're going to do it anyway. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Because, yeah.
And plus, we don't know how much it's going to let you grind based on the cinematic nature of the combat, it seems like.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to exploit grinding areas. They're going to have at least one area where it's endless people of some kind, or random battles, or whatever.
True, like you walk in and out of a root area.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll have some of that. It'll be really interesting to see how they've thought through this process. I'm super excited about it, and like
I'm stoked.
I don't the words cannot come out of my head, my head hole, as to how. I don't think I've been this excited about a game within the last maybe 10 years, other than possibly Divinity Original Sin 2. That's
you were pretty excited about the Division. You were
Division 1 or 2?
Division 1. You were pretty.
I was pretty excited about it. I don't think I was this excited about it.
Dude, you declared it the only reason you bought a PS4.
At the time.
I'm out for like 3 years.
But this was not a possibility then, right? This wasn't a known entity when Division 1 came out, and then like 2 years later we got the trailer that I watched in the theaters during freaking PlayStation during E3, and I have screamed my head off along with everyone else in the theater. I don't know, man. This game looks too good to be real. I'm super I don't even care if I have to wait a few days to get that collector's edition, because I'm sure Square Enix is not going to send it to me day one release. I don't care. I will complete media blackout until I get the game, and I will put it in. And
so because you ordered in the 4th batch, your release date is actually April of 2021. So have fun waiting for your Cloud statue.
You say that, and now I'm actually not thinking that's the case, but I am curious to know. I turned the screen off so I can actually look at my email without broadcasting it to the world. I want to look and see if
Mark's going to
the
end up buying
game
this
is
thing.
downloadable. I don't know if the game is a download. Now that I'm thinking about this, I know that I have the ability to get the codes for all of the DLC, right? But I don't know if the game was DLC and I just get a steel case for it, or if I get a physical version of the game, or I would assume it kind of is, but just to be sure.
In the meantime,
so looks like I get a lanyard. I didn't even realize that. Final Fantasy VII
A lanyard.
Yeah.
So Keegan, as a you're not a complete blank out to Final Fantasy. You've done some Final Fantasy stuff, but as a relatively low Final Fantasy experienced individual, does this game speak to you anyway beyond it's just a cool, pretty looking game? Or
I think I'll play it.
Think you'll play it? You think you'll play it because
I think I'll play it.
Like, I meant that as a good
10
thing,
out of
like,
10. Gamersledge.com.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like it definitely piques an interest, and I've never actually played the game, so there's a lot of the story that I don't know, and it seems interesting. So I'm definitely interested by it and want to play it.
One of the questions
I don't think I have Mark's level of hype.
No, probably not.
Nobody ever has Mark's level of hype for anything.
But this is actually something that came up, right? Is Lexi asked me why this game, right? Why is it this game that you are so looking forward to? And I'm like, well, I played Final Fantasy 2/4 when it came out on the Super Nintendo, and it was cool. But when 7 came out, it was brand new technology. It was the first time we had like a 3D RPG. I mean, I know Matt's can say Wild Arms, but you know what I mean. Like a triple A. I'd say Wild Arms was like double A, maybe.
Yeah, it was a 16-bit game that decided, let's have 3D battles. So,
right, right. But it was the first time we got a fully 3D RPG that had such grand ambition and scope. But on top of that, the characters were really relatable. And I think for me, this was the first game that took video games from I enjoy playing video games to, oh my God, I actually feel something. This is a real narrative story that could be considered an art form. And and 7 is not my favorite. 8 is my favorite. But 7 was the first time that I felt that a game like hooked me in with the story, and I wanted to know more. I wanted to play more to find out more of the story. And I've been chasing that dragon ever since, and we got games like Telltale's The Walking Dead, which was the first game that I was openly bawling at by the end of, and stuff like that. But, I mean, I've always chased story-driven games, but this was like the first... It wasn't the first story-driven game, but it was the first one that executed on a level that it did. And I think that's why I have a very soft spot in my heart for it, because there was nothing like it before that time, at least for me. I mean, there are others who will say, I was hooked at Final Fantasy 1. Great, but, it wasn't realized in this fashion. Those cutscenes, like, I have a tape back when I had a camcorder that used tape, and I have a tape of all of the Final Fantasy VII cutscenes where I recorded it off the TV at the time that I was experiencing them, and it's basically like the first mixtape, like they upload to YouTube all the time now, of nothing but the original Final Fantasy VII cutscenes, because I loved the story so much. I always wanted to have it, and I think that's for a lot of people, this was their gateway into video games, and so I think that's why I have such an affinity for it. And I will be interested to see what people like you, Keegan, think of it after playing it, because we're surrounded today. I mean, we are in such a glut of great games, and the quantity of games is so high that I don't know that it will have the same impact for you as it would have for somebody that was playing PlayStation 1 for the first time back in 1996 or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
PlayStation was I don't think we ever really make enough of the fact that PlayStation was really the first video game system that was mass marketed.
Yeah.
Maybe Sega CD.
Yeah, but Sega CD was catering to a fraction of a player base anyway.
With the titles it had, it was kind of trying to get beyond the typical game sphere. But again, with a system that only the hardest of hardcores had. So, it's kind of weird. PlayStation was really the first console that was kind of mass marketed and, trying to bring in people that had never really touched or thought about video games before. I mean, the NES was popular. Don't get me wrong. It was a huge seller and it was a very popular console, but even it was never truly mass market in the way video games are now.
Right.
Well, I mean, they were. It was just that I think the PlayStation. I think the better way to say it is the PlayStation was the
first successful
critical mass. It was the critical mass of all the previous years finally coming to fruition. You had strong sales of the NES and the Super NES and the Genesis, and then building up to the PlayStation, and then you had the Nintendo 64, and then here came the PlayStation at the same time as the Nintendo 64, and it was the one that resonated with people because it offered this new fancy CD technology, and everyone wanted to play CDs because music CDs were the thing at that time. It was brand new, and they were selling like hotcakes, and everybody wanted a CD player. And oh, hey, here's a game console that costs just as much as a CD player, and it plays games. And so it was like for the public appeal, it made the most sense and became the hottest thing on the planet at that point. So I think that's, we don't have that atmosphere here. Game consoles are a diamond, you want a Switch, you want a Stadia, you want all this stuff. It's all here and it's available and ready and at your fingertips. I'm really interested to see how this does. I think it's still going to do gangbusters just based on the nostalgia buy from people like you and me, Matt. But I'm interested to see what people of a younger generation think about it, because it's very weird, right? It's a 23-year-old story being retold for the first time in a slightly modernized way. Is it going to have the same resonance? I don't know. Resonance? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a different world, and it won't be that same thing, right? It's like any Star Wars movie. No Star Wars movie can be Star Wars or Empire ever again. It just can't.
Right.
But I think it can still be something that's very successful, and hopefully it looks like they're managing it right. Now the question is, even if they get this part right, can they get the rest right? That's the bigger question, because the weird stuff doesn't even start at this point yet. This is the normal stuff. The weird stuff really is to come.
I think if they do get this right, that gives them the template for the remaining parts, right? Yeah. So it's how long is it going to be? And they said it will be faster, but it's been 23 years, so how much faster? How much faster is faster, right? It's
another question that came to mind. When they make the next games, will they use the same system? Will the combat system be exactly the same?
That was part of their holdup of doing this, was creating the engine to complete all of the games.
Okay, so all will use the same engine, combat system, and okay.
Yeah, I'd imagine it'll be. They'll always want to wiggle something new. So there'll be something in the next one that wasn't in the first one, and it might just be chocobo racing, right? Won't do chocobo racing in the first one. Maybe there'll be chocobo racing in the second one, or chocobo breeding, or chocobo whatever. But yeah, I think they're going to keep it pretty similar. I think, unless it takes them 30 years to get to the next disc.
which I really hope it does not. Oh,
So I think
you know
Keegan,
what?
as kind of in line with Matt's question earlier, what do you think is the biggest pull for you to play this game as someone who has only played really essentially one Final Fantasy game before being Final Fantasy 12?
You guys.
We're influencers, yeah.
Yay.
Which, I mean, that's kind of the answer I was expecting from him. I mean, I think there is something to be said for that effect where people who are hyped because of the original game, I think, will have a major role in bringing new players into this version of Final Fantasy VII and into this world of Final Fantasy VII.
And this version is just going to be inherently more accessible. I mean, like, as much as I like that original game, that Shinra Tower stuff is a bear.
It is. It really is.
Trying to navigate those 2D rendered backgrounds with a 3-dimensional sprite that doesn't quite line up right, and whew. That is
all the puzzles. I think I even had to there was one puzzle where you had to talk to the right guy in the right room and then find the right book on one random bookshelf to get a passcode to one computer on the other.
Oh, that's all going to be
floor,
there.
two floors up.
Now, they're not going to change any of that nonsense.
I know.
So,
it's just going to be a little bit easier because you can see it.
Yeah. See, and even you, Mitchell, you represent an interesting perspective as well, because it's not like you had impetus to play the original other than you had good parenting.
Right. I mean, yeah. Final Fantasy has been a series that I've had a lot of interest in, and it's kind of regrettable to say this, but I've only finished two Final Fantasy games.
Which ones did you finish?
No, I've only finished one. I've only finished 15. And I've played 4, 6, 7, like the intro of 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, and 15.
You played a little
10
12.
And a little bit of
12
and a little bit of 12. I've played 11 different Final Fantasy games. I've only beat one of them, and it was the quote-unquote probably easiest of them to beat. And I find that highly regrettable. But I am close. I think I'm somewhere close to beating 9 and kind of close to the end of 7. Well, I just unlocked the ultimate weapons in 7, so I'm like halfway through 7.
So to give you an idea of how much I played Final Fantasy VII the first go-round, I had a 99-page PS1 save file memory card.
My goodness.
There's reason that I bring this up, because on it, the only thing on page 1 was all my Final Fantasy stuff. I had 395 hours logged on Final Fantasy 1. I had bred all the chocobos. I'd done everything there was to do. And I had heard warnings about using non-Sony memory cards. And it ate all of my saves, including my 395 hours of Final Fantasy VII.
Damn.
My girlfriend at the time thought I was going to burn the house down because of how mad I was. But then I still logged another 275 hours.
Oh wow! But I think that effect you were talking about before with a game that kind of led us to stories and stuff like that. I think the game that kind of did that for me was Kingdom Hearts in a way, because I remember it wasn't as much of myself playing the games. It was my father. Because I remember early on seeing Wild Arms, Alter Code F as well, albeit, and Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, him playing those games when I was younger and wasn't quite allowed to access them myself yet. But then as soon as I had access, those were the kinds of games I found myself drawn to playing, and I think there's something to be said for the power there from games that have well written and well designed stories and gameplay elements that draw people to them and pull people towards those kinds of games in the futures. And I think for this next upcoming generation of gamers who haven't really seen as many games of that kind of, there's been so many that there haven't been like one that would stand out to them. I think it's possible for this game to become that game in a way, if you can kind of catch what I'm saying.
Yeah. My only question for you, Matt, is do you think they'll remake Xenogears next?
Oh, that would be so delicious.
Oh my god, could you imagine an action-oriented Xenogears where you don a mech from Square Enix to do RPG battles? Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah. I still don't know how that never got picked back up. I don't. But anyway.
If they do that, I also want to see Wild Arms and Xenosaga.
Well, neither of those are done by Square Enix.
Yeah, I know they're not done by Square Enix, but I mean, they still make remakes.
Only his own Wild Arms IP, I think. It was made by.
So what I'm hearing is you want the next bunch of games to just be remakes of old games.
Yes.
I'd love to see Rearms taken back or Wild Arms taken back out. I mean, Mediavision still exists. They still make RPGs, very different RPGs, but they're still out there and they're still making RPGs. I would love them to pick that back up and do that again. I mean, the RPG space is wider than it used to be, but there still aren't barely anything that are basically Westerns, right? I mean, that's really what it is. And I realized that you were talking about that, Mitchell. The game you need to play that you haven't, that actually in many ways, I think beyond any of the other stuff that you mentioned, because you actually had to be stopped from watching this game because you were becoming a little too obsessed about it. It's Final Fantasy X.
I was the guy in the shed with
you ran around with your samurai sword from the circus, slaying people, and then taking the Oron victory stand.
Do you realize what you've done? The next time we see Mitchell, he's gonna have an eye patch and a giant mason bottle.
With his arm hanging in his shirt.
That's right.
Okay, so who's financing my Oron cosplay project?
You are. Congratulations.
Gamersledge.
I'm a college student. I can.
Oh man. All right. Well, there's been video game news, but we're not going to have time to get to it. It's okay. I don't think there's anything really. It's been pretty slow on the news front. I don't think there was anything really. Let me look back.
Gosh, my brain is fried.
The NVIDIA GeForce Now, it's the same thing as Stadia, except you got to live close to one of their things, and it's $5 instead of $10, but you still got to buy the game, so that's going live. The PlayStation 5 website's up and live, but there's no information on it. More Mandalorian this October. Set on fill time for a second. I'll go get. Did you see my shirt, Matt?
Yeah.
Demons and Offices. Wait, hold on. Wait. Fill time for just a second. I'll grab my shirt.
Okay.
Let's see. Filling time.
What else is? Yeah, we have more Mandalorian. They announced the 3 Marvel shows coming out this year: WandaVision,
Loki?
Falcon and the Loki and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Falcon and Winter Soldier's first. I think Loki's going to be last. I think is the release schedule.
And of course, that's the one most people are. Well, at least all the fangirls are waiting for is Loki.
Yeah. They've shown some of the first footage from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it's looking pretty freaking awesome.
Nice. Oh,
he got the
Mando. Well, Matt might recognize it, but I know you guys would.
Yeah, it's Mask.
Yeah, Mask was the Mobile Armor Strike Command, and they all wear masks, and their code names are like Spectre and stuff like that. But this one, damn it, if I can get it to stop phasing out on me. Damn teleporter always.
So it's the Mask logo style.
Yeah, it's the Mask logo. But the interesting thing is the Mandalorian has helmets as Mask. It's great.
Yeah. Are they still doing that reboot, or did that die?
I think it died. I think the whole universe died actually, because there was supposed to be more than just Mask. There was
it was Mask, G.I. Joe, Micronauts.
Micronauts have never materialized either. So I think the whole thing died after the G.I. Joe movies.
That Masters of the Universe film was relegated, I guess, to Netflix. So the one that was going to be a theatrical release has now been deal with Netflix to be the exclusive distributor.
Does that mean Netflix has the power?
Well, it might. Or it might just mean the movie sucks.
All right.
Probably.
Fair enough.
Yep, it's funny. Netflix series can be great, but Netflix movies?
Well, tell that to The Irishman 3 hours later.
Oh, yeah, okay. I haven't watched that one.
I haven't either, but, I heard
a lot of Netflix movies, not all necessary.
Let's see. You talked about the Thor and the Loki and that stuff. Overwatch introduced hero pools like League of Legends. And if your hero isn't on that week, then you're SOL. I don't know. Warcraft 3, nobody likes it. It has the worst Metacritic game score in history at 0.5. They are now doing instant refunds because they were about to be threatened with a class action lawsuit.
Which, as far as I can tell from rational discourse, it's actually not that bad, but people are people, so yeah.
I've heard it's pretty bad because they basically ruined the game if you already owned it. So if you're one of the people who already had a valid license key and you enjoyed the game that you had, there was no way to keep that game. You had to upgrade to the new stuff, and it caused a bunch of problems, and you had to always be online and all kinds of other problems.
Oh, wow.
The fact that it replaced the original game rather than coexisting with it is probably the biggest thing. But as far as they pulled a No Man's Sky and they promised a bunch of crap and they didn't deliver on it. But the core game itself still works. It's not like it's a bug-ridden poop fest and nothing works.
Right.
Which would deserve a 0.5, not, I don't like the way you did this.
Netflix officially announces One Piece live action series.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how to feel about that yet. That scares me. That scares me.
PlayStation Plus titles this month are BioShock Collection, Sims 4 base game only, and PSVR title Firewall 0 Hour. And did you see my image of Gordon Ramsay chewing out Link for his
yes, because I shared it with you guys.
Oh, it was great. Thank you for sharing it. It's fantastic. That's like my new Facebook thing.
One of the things we didn't share, I don't think, Rod Ferguson is leaving Coalition to oversee Diablo. So that's a interesting thing, going from Gears to Diablo.
Patapon 2 remastered,
is out.
Coming to PS4.
It's out now.
Oh, it is out. Did you buy it?
Yeah, it came out. It came out like the next day. No, I did not, because I am a poor person. Yeah, I was super into those two games on PSP.
Patapon.
I can vouch for that.
Patapon.
Patapon. Dark Crystal Age of Resistance Tactics seems to be okay. That's what the reviews are coming out as.
It's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. It's kind of like the series. It was okay. Amazing puppetry work, amazing effects, but story-wise, kind of fell flat for me personally. But we have our first signs that the coronavirus may be causing actual problems now, because the Outer Worlds switch port is being delayed because of it. And now there's talk about if there's too much more of this going on, it could actually impact production in China, which will delay the console releases potentially.
Oh, wow.
All right then.
Okay.
Torchlight Frontiers has been turned into Torchlight 3 because Torchlight's not having a good history with any studios that decide to develop for it whatsoever. So, good, I guess. I don't know. We'll see whenever it comes out.
There was something I saw, but I can't find it back. But apparently there was a game that was not what became Devil May Cry, but another potential thread that was going to be Resident Evil 2. And it was abandoned, but apparently some developer is picking it up and finishing it and releasing it. I cannot find the name of this thing. It had a
Is it like a survival horror genre still, or
it's still a survival horror, but it's a little more actiony.
okay?
From the description, I'd never heard of it before. I don't know that it's ever actually been released in any form before this.
Right.
I cannot find the stupid thing back, and Google is not
helping
at all.
Pokemon the card game Sword and Shield available now.
Yep, they released the new expansion for the TCG recently.
EA has jacked up a bunch of prices on their older games on Steam, and only on Steam. So that seems
interesting.
Sucks. Yeah.
Silly EA trying to steal more people's money.
A reason that
Because they can't do
log back
microtransactions.
onto Fortnite. By the way, I never told you, Matt, that they had in Fortnite a Kylo Ren like skin, and you know the hovercraft that you use to fall to the ground. They had his TIE fighter, and I bought it. So I actually had it. Makes
the person who hates Star Wars has the Star Wars.
Yeah, and it makes the TIE fighter, squeal, that like scream or whatever. Yeah, exactly. It's really good. Harley Quinn is coming to Fortnite. Another reason that I might log on and I can get a Harley Quinn.
That movie's getting pretty solid reviews.
Yeah.
Birds of Prey, or
Birds of Prey. Yep. Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of One Harley Quinn is the full title, by the way. Because I'm a nerd.
I know a lot of people are liking that Harley Quinn thing that came out on DC stream service, whatever it's called.
Oh,
as
it's
well.
Great. It is great. It is definitely not for children. Not for children in any way, shape, or form. But it is great. But it has a lot of swearing. A lot of swearing.
All the ads I get are bleeped out.
Yeah.
The real thing isn't, I'm guessing.
Outer Worlds sold 2 million units as of today. And that's before the Switch version because it's delayed. Oh, I know the thing that we didn't talk about that we need to.
Oh?
Sony put out a survey. I did not get it, but I knew somebody who did. That asked if the survey recipients would like to see Sony's Remote Play on Nintendo Switch and Xbox One. Which means that you would be able to play PlayStation wherever, however, whenever. I think it makes perfect sense.
I can't see Nintendo going along with that, especially since they've been schmoomy with Microsoft.
Why? It's just an app for their app store. They'd have to have an actual reason why, if they want to put the development and pay the fees to get the app on the system, who cares? I mean, it's just like Fortnite if you think about it.
Yeah, but it's Nintendo, and they're smarmy about stuff.
We'll see.
Oh, I remember I'm not sure if this was confirmed or not, but I remember reading or hearing something about apparently they did want to get Sora into Smash, but they had to go through Disney, and Disney snuffed them.
Oh,
They
that's
killed him?
sad.
Through Disney.
Because apparently, supposedly, Disney holds the rights.
Well, I mean, yeah, the partnership there, I don't.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess that's true.
If they have to agree to use of the characters for stuff. One thing we didn't mention, Sam Raimi is allegedly in talks to direct Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
I did hear
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yes.
So,
I did hear that.
of course, everyone thinks, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man coming back. No, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man not coming back.
You say that.
There will be a reference. If he does pick it up, there will be a reference, no doubt. But it'll be more subtle than that.
It'll be like a movie poster in the background.
Yeah, it won't be him popping out and saying, "Hi guys," and then disappearing again.
I have a piece of anime news.
Lay it out.
News? All right, go ahead.
Okay. So apparently, I have not actually seen this, but I know of it because of Lost Pause and a friend at college. And it's called Interspecies Reviewers. And it's an anime that is almost not anime, if you get what I mean.
Why are you talking about
Why are you talking about the next to off-brand anime on here, Keegan?
I don't know, because it's on an anime ranking site. It's ranked number 2, second to only Full Metal Alchemist
Keegan, go
Brotherhood.
away. Take your pervy interspecies reviews away.
Oh my goodness. All right then.
His Funimation, in their infinite wisdom, decided, "Hey, let's air this on our streaming service," and then went, "Oh crap! No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not."
Nice.
Yep, that was basically what happened.
That's why things like Monster Musume aren't there either.
Kids got far enough into the editing process of Visions of Escaflowne, they just went, "Man, we're done."
And why they didn't air season 0 of Yu-Gi-Oh!
All right, so with that's going to bring us then to final thoughts. So, but first we would like to take the opportunity. Actually, you got to fill for a second because I got to pull up my list, and I don't know how to pull up my list. That's not quite what I had in mind.
I am filling time with my presence.
Whoa.
What? First we're talking about your off-brand anime, and now we're talking about filling time with your presence.
Are you getting consent?
The opinions expressed on Gamersledge podcast do not reflect those of the Gamersledge staff, officers, or shareholders.
Wait, we have
shareholders?
We got one. We got one, and it's me. So, like I said,
to be clear, Patreon is not a shareholding; it is a donation.
That is correct. I'm trying to find the last podcast that I did so that I can. Oh, you know what? I bet it's on the Gamersledge, the Divinity one.
It is Shark.
You. Shark.
What has this devolved into?
It's normal. It's normal.
This is Mark's not prepared, so we all lose our brain trying to fill time.
Mark's not prepared. Mark wasn't prepared.
My cheeks hurt. I've been laughing.
That's a good thing.
What?
It's like my face shouldn't move this way.
It's not used to all this, you know?
Oh,
Except
man.
Twitch is not cooperating playing any of my videos. Dang it.
Deer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
My lot of juice.
The
Let's see if I can get this one to play.
I'm the things.
Okay, here we go. All right. So
Okay, good.
This is the part where we like to thank all of our patrons who have so graciously donated to us. You can do so by heading over to patreon.com/gamersledge, or you can click the subscribe button right here on Twitch. But thank you to Justin, Regina, Naomi, John, June, Eric, Lexi, Patrick, Dave, Kevin, John, Nashok, William, Peter, John, Vekarad, Colleen, Tracy, Michael, Dave, and Arturo. So thank you guys for being patrons of the channel. And that's going to bring us then to final thoughts, where we will go around the room with our final thoughts for the week, and we will start with off-brand anime Keegan. That is. I am now going to remake.
Watch it.
I just want you to know. You know how Mitchell's the Pokemaster? I'm gonna make you one that is off-brand anime Keegan. That's gonna be your...
No, I can't watch it. And it's actual anime, not off-brand.
It's all. It
is technically anime.
Yeah, but it's
all right.
still
Yes.
off-brand.
Final thoughts, Keegan.
Yes, final thoughts.
Final Fantasy VII Remake looks pretty cool.
That is true. Mitchell, how about you?
Red 13.
Red 13. All right.
I want it.
Red 13 standing by.
Now let's go down the rabbit hole. Let's see if you know your trivia. What's Red 13's name?
Nanaki.
Very good. Very good.
I actually have in my Final Fantasy VII remake on the PS4 save file. I actually named him Nanaki.
Nice.
You did. I can verify this.
Nice. Matt, final thought.
Yeah, you would have thought I'd had something by now, but I've been busy.
And his father's name is Seto.
It makes me
one Kaiba.
It warms my heart to know that I'm not the only one.
Yeah, no. Really, I guess I'm gonna go back to this. Sea of Stars. It's really good. If you are even remotely into science fantasy action, and it's there's. I mean, okay. Here's the very, 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 very short description on the back cover: a father, a son, and a whole lot of space between them. That is a very apt description. It is unfortunately. Wow. Unfortunately, Image is kind of not giving you as good of a deal on trades as you used to. This is 5 issues for $15. So that's basically cover price, at which point I should have just been collecting the issues. So I'm a little disappointed at that, but at the same time, it is what it is.
I don't think I mentioned that I watched Knives Out.
I don't know.
Which is a murder mystery movie that stars Daniel Craig, who I hate. And he's very good in this, actually. I hate him slightly less. I only hate him because he turned Bond into a thug. So,
Bond smash!
I found out who wrote the screenplay for the newest Bond movie, and actually it makes me want to go watch it now. Dang, who? That was part of my diatribe here. What is the newest one called? Latest Bond movie.
To die. No Time to Die.
No Time to Die. Yeah. No Time to Die. No Time to Die screenwriter. No Time to Die. Oh, it's the chick from the British comedy that's winning all the awards. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Fleabag. She's the one that is doing the screenplay for No Time to Die.
Harry Joji. Oh, Phoebe Waller-Bridge?
Yes. So she's been winning a lot of awards everywhere. She was also in Solo, FYI, if the name sounds familiar to Star Wars people. That is why she was the robot. She played the voice of the robot.
Oh, voice of the robot. Okay, yeah. I know I'd seen that name somewhere, but I couldn't remember where. That's probably where I picked it up.
Yeah, and her and her and Donald Glover. I was having a brain circuit malfunction. Her and Donald Glover became super good friends after that movie because of that. So, anyways, Knives Out. It has Daniel Craig and a just absolutely star-studded cast.
Chris Evans.
Yeah, Chris Evans, among others.
Yeah.
Really, really well written, well done. I very much enjoyed it. And it actually turns the murder mystery formula on its ear, which is kind of refreshing. Somebody found a different way to tell it, and I really like it. So really, really well done. I'm actually pretty sure it's going to get a sequel of some kind.
It is. That was confirmed. Who is the director on that again? I know this, and it's escaping my brain.
Director was Rian Johnson.
Yeah, Rian Johnson.
Yep. So he's the guy who did Looper, and he did Star Wars: Last Jedi.
Yep.
So.
And no, never mind. I was gonna say a wrong movie. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So, anyways, I do recommend it. It's really well done. I enjoyed it. It went really quick. So that's probably my final thought. Knives Out in theaters now, or possibly coming soon to Blu-ray. Should be any time now. And that's going to bring us to the end of the show, where we leave you with a sage piece of wisdom to carry you over until the next week. Matt.
Man, I'd gone like 4 weeks without one of these. I think my life was.
Matt.
What?
What do you call a hippie's wife?
Ma'am?
A Mrs. Hippie. Until next week, game on.
See what you encouraged?
Game on.
Game on.
Game on.